Welcome to Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock Drogheda. A couple of weeks ago, Paul Eshelman died at 80 years of age and went to be with the Lord. Now, perhaps that's a name you're not familiar with, but it's a name we should be familiar with because Paul Eshelman has had an incredible impact upon evangelizing the world for Jesus Christ. He was a worker with Campus Crusade for Christ. And back in 1979, he started directing the Jesus Film Project. Film about Jesus, simply covering the Gospel of Luke. And he produced the movie, and it was released in 1980. When it was released, it showed in a few cinemas, and people thought it was okay. But it wasn't, for example, it didn't get the kind of reviews that films like Ben-Hur and the Ten Commandments and stuff like that, the real blockbusters had. But nevertheless, churches began to pick up on this and realized that the movie was an incredibly effective way of telling people about Jesus Christ. And ever since then, the Jesus movie has spread around the world. It's been shown in so many different countries. It's been taken on the road. Basically, teams have gone into villages in remote parts of the world where people have never seen an electric light before. And they would set up a screen, set up projectors and lights, and off they'd go with the Jesus movie. The Jesus movie was translated into more than 2,000 languages, which makes it the most translated movie ever. And just get this is one statistic about the Jesus movie that absolutely blows my mind. It's estimated that nearly 500 million people have made a decision for Christ as a result of watching the Jesus movie somewhere in the world. Nearly 500 million. Now, if that wasn't enough, Paul Eshelman went on in the year 2000 to organize a group called Finishing the Task and motivating evangelists and missionaries and church planters to go out and reach unreached people groups. And that, Finishing the Task, was responsible over the next 20 years or so for planting over 100,000 new churches. Just think about that. This one man, Paul Eshelman, a name that most Christians wouldn't know, has been responsible for projects that led nearly 500 million people to Christ and planted at least 100,000 new churches. You know, sometimes people do things in a way that their name is in the limelight. People do things for their reputation and their fame. And then there are others who do things in a way that simply impacts the people around them for Jesus Christ. And for me, Paul Eshelman is probably the greatest example of this, of somebody who, rather than seeking personal fame, has instead impacted not just a community, not just a nation, but has truly, it can be said, impacted the world for Jesus Christ. The wonderful thing is that often we have high-profile Christians and high-profile pastors, and sometimes they mess up and they bring shame and disgrace to the cause of Christ. But I want to tell you, for every high-profile failure, there are hundreds of successes operating under the radar. There are hundreds of people whose name you might never know, but they're doing incredibly effective things for Jesus Christ. And our aim, your aim and my aim, should be that we would be those kind of people. Not the kind of people who become famous, but the kind of people who change the world for Jesus Christ. So today, I say thank you, God, for Paul Eshelman and his vision. I pray for others will pick up such a vision and run with it. You know what? We might not have the success that he had, but I believe every one of us can be used in sharing Jesus with others. May God bless you today. Join us again tomorrow for another Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock Drogheda.